Five,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Action.
Wait, I didn't do it.
Okay, one, two,
three.
go.
Action. And welcome back to another episode with the Real Teachers of Atlanta. I am Ty.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Joya.
We got the queens in the house, y'all. Real teachers of Atlanta. We got the queens in the house, y'all.
We're so funny. No, we gotta do it together. Count
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's all.
Soft beat.
Whatever.
Okay, one more time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Action.
Look at Drake.
He's so unimpressed. I'm sorry. It's your turn.
Girl, you better be quiet before she crash out over there.
Okay, and today we are going to be talking about the executive order 14190, which ended radical indoctrination in K through 12 schooling, signed by
Trump.
47
Okay.
on January 29, 2020, which was, he probably was about 6 days in office.
We didn't put that pen down.
Yeah, he went to work. So, basically, what this means is that teachers can no longer talk about slavery. Teachers can no longer talk about critical race theory. Critical race theories.
We don't do critical race theory. It's an advanced course.
But just in case you wanted to, just know you don't have the option. And teachers also don't, call students by their preference, which when we're talking about names and pronouns, they're no longer looked at. So, yeah, anything that has to do with civil rights, gender ideologies, critical race theories, all that falls up under that order. And so the reason why he placed this order is to say we are pretty much one nation, and we're trying to get back to the patriotic fundamentals of being an American, I guess you could say. But who's to say what's patriotic for America?
So that's the concept of making America great again. Is a look. So you push out people who are of different races. We don't care how America was started. We don't care who.
That's not important.
It's not important who built the railroads, who established these different cities around America. The foundation of how this country was started and who it was started by were criminals and people that Europe didn't want. So these are your founding fathers, and it's a stain that's been on the United States since the beginning of time. So, so now we're trying to move it into a dictatorship where he's trying to crowbar his way into making America great again, and it's affecting the school system.
So,
and we got to look at it because why so much pressure? Like, you're in the office less than 6 days and you're making this your first point of power to make sure that we end this. And my thing is, with what I don't understand is you're getting rid of the what did he just get rid of? No, not the Department of Education.
Department of Education.
Because you're saying that the states should take control, right? You're giving the power back to states, but at the end of the day, you're saying get rid of this to give the state back control of education, but at the same time, you're policing what they could teach. Make it make sense.
This is the thing. Reading through it, I'm reading through it. The things that you can't do, the things that he is trying to say are unlawful now are not all things that we do current day. Like, the whole point was to say, okay, the 1776 patriotic education, right? But it also states in here that it's supposed to be the accurate teaching of American history. That's what he wants. The accurate teaching of American history. you cannot teach America's history
If you don't
without
talk about
talking about slavery. So in the same document, it literally says a clear, honest, accurate, unifying, inspiring, and enabling characteristic and ennobling characteristic of America's founding and foundation of principles. You want real history, you cannot ignore it.
Well, the
You can't
founding
ignore-
fathers, they don't.
That ain't what he
there's-
said, though.
But that's what is implied.
But, sure, but my thing is, if you want to go by the letter of the law, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what he said. I'm just going by what he said. And if you want to do it,
Well, this ain't the first time in history this done happened.
oh, absolutely
so
not.
You gotta
But
know
the thing is, but the part that I thought,
why this is happening.
sure, I thought it was interesting that also in here it says, and I just wanted to make sure I pulled it back up, that it is unlawful for there to be a violation of Title 4 or Title 9. It is unlawful to sexually exploit minors. We can also be it's a violation of the law to unlawfully practice medicine by offering diagnosis and treatment without the require a license. But my thing is that one. But these are things that we already aren't allowed to do. So it's like you're rewriting what's already written. It's already teachers do not diagnose. We do not perform surgeries.
Well, that's for the nurse piece. I don't think that's educational.
That's what he said in here for K-12 teachers. Literally. And that's why I'm like, we don't even do that.
I think it's for teachers and
I'm just saying that's what it says. But even still, we're not diagnosing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you bleeding, you have a wound, put a Band-Aid on it. That's what a nurse is going to do. Or call home. They're not diagnosing you with ADHD at school as a nurse. Because if you have a license to do so, then fine. Because it says you have a license, fine. Anyone without a license would just be the teachers, which is silly to me to say that we can't diagnose and we already can't. It just seems like he's rewriting the same stuff to make it look good so that people can say, look what he did.
But I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't understand. It's like of course we know he's double tongued because you can't say I'm giving the control back to the states. Let's do away with the Department of Education, but I'm going to let you know what you can and cannot do because schools, if found out that they are still teaching these practices, or they still honoring gender preferences, they can lose funding.
Yeah.
When did they start teaching gender preferences in school anyway?
Well, not that they teach it, but some schools, if a child is transitioning, they will accommodate.
Right. Right. Okay.
To restrooms or.
Right. So he's saying schools can't do that at all.
They can't call them by he if they're she. They can't go
whatever
by
you were
she
biological.
if they're he. Whatever you was born, however you were born, identity.
Yeah, you're born, whatever gender, not your, what is it, what's the terminology? Assigned gender at birth? The one that whatever they look down there and said, this what they put, that's what you have to be called. That's what they're saying. But my thing is, why does any of that matter? And how does that impact our students, our ability to teach?
I'm going to tell you why. Because on a greater level, you're talking about preserving a group of people and this is a certain group of people that believe this, for survival purposes. So when you're talking about the gender pronouns and that type of thing, the birth rates of these populations of people within the last 7-8 years have plummeted greatly. Sure. So now we are putting things in place to make sure that the birth rates are back where they need to be because they're looking at the future for their children.
Sure.
So not going too much into genetics, but we know that the deeper you dig, the blacker this earth gets. So they're not looking to stop abortion because they care about the religious or the morality part of it. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure that more of these types of babies are born.
Right.
It is only about survival.
Population
and I think
control.
if people understand that, this is how these people think. They're not concerned about you or your family or we the American people. Right. This is a democracy, and our government is very unique compared to other countries around the world. But there are also countries that would have completely torn this place to shreds.
As they should. Because don't you think that affects our freedom of speech when you say we can't talk about these things and then
that's a
to
dictatorship.
threaten?
Yes,
That's a dictatorship.
And I was going to say, that's what the thing is, we're talking about someone that is in office and that has said that he's already looking to redo some of the things in the Constitution and say, hey, I can run for a third term. He's made those claims. He has moved to
Not a third term.
being a dictator. I agree with you. Why would you say, I'm going to take away the Department of Education, who is kind of governing what we're doing in the classroom, or saying, hey, we need to have this type of education, and then I'm going to tell you what you can do in the classroom with no basis. It's almost the same type of stuff that we talk about when we talk about our district leaders who have never even they don't have an education degree, have never taught, but they are leading, and then we're like,
Ooh,
you can't even help me.
He got a basis. The basis is to make the
No, I'm saying, we're saying when you talk about what we can
to
and
make
can't
one group of people look like they angel clean.
No. I'm talking about from a teaching standpoint, from an education standpoint. He doesn't have anything that says I should be able to tell you.
He don't have anything to say I should be president, but he's there.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about teaching. That's all I was saying. But I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it's the same argument we've always had. People are in leadership talking about things and making decisions that they have no experience about. It's the same thing. We see that at the local and state levels all the time. And now we're seeing it again in the presidency. At the end of the day, this is his executive order. I don't think that it makes any sense. It just reads like a bunch of repetitive words to me, because you're really saying don't sexually exploit minors. That's already it's already a thing.
Don't let me go there.
What about the
the pot calling the kettle black?
The 48 right. The 40 wasn't it 48 convictions? Oh, I rest my case.
But what about the lower income schools that possibly can be affected?
They are already being impacted.
What?
Yeah, when it comes.
I'm saying what? That's the first community you bulldoze. What are you talking about?
That's already
we're trying to look at you bulldoze. You know,
Hey, we see it every time, Lake Lanier.
Okay, they think these communities are you're using resources. You're using water. You're using air.
Right.
You're using this is how these people think. Why are you here?
They're not. There is no concern for you or your
low income.
Hence the whole point of him putting this thing out.
Easy.
Like, you ain't even.
That's easy to rectify. You see what they've done to the water in certain areas.
Damn it.
Hit them with, what I'm saying. One bottle of, a glass bottle of water, for example, is like $3. Let's say if you have a family of 5 and you need water for the entire week. Who's buying that much water? And if you're using tap water in these certain areas, okay, let's hit them when they're babies. Neurological deficiencies, issues with the nervous system, reproduction, because now you all are sterile. Now you don't produce anymore. You see how the game works?
Yeah.
Pow pow. The putting it on the stove don't work no more.
It's been.
Who had time to do that?
Listen, it was not even that long ago that you would go in there for surgery, and you go in there for a toothache and you'll come out.
It's called blue gold. That is going to be the new investment. Water. This guy, I don't know if I should say this. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, water. I'll do it off camera. But water is going to be the main thing, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, they've been starting with the water.
Yeah.
Look how
investing in water wells, aquifers.
That's one of my main.
You already know they already shot what they need to shoot in the water in Michigan. So that's been on the rise.
Yep. The thing is that we already know who the target is. We know who the target is. We understand it. It's not like we're oblivious. At the end of the day, we know how this impacts, but how it impacts certain communities, and it's going to do so disproportionately, as intended. Education has never been equally distributed and equally provided. There are so many recounts of these different things happening. You can't getting used textbooks. They've been used so bad that pages are missing. So you still already getting partial education. We're still talking about people who are in their late 50s who remember these things. We're not even talking about, this is not a long time ago. I know we've had discussion privately where we understand why the pictures are in black and white because it makes it seem older, but it's literally just your grandparents, depending on how old you are, or your parents. Like for me, it's my parents. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a foreign concept, and I don't know why we keep trying to pretend like it is. But what I will say is it's frustrating when it's people that look like us that try to pretend like they don't know what's going on or try to act like, oh, it's not that big of a deal when we understand how deeply this goes. The other side of the coin is when I see communities that are able to benefit from your lack, from this, let's call it a spade, from systemic racism, where things have been put into place. And this is just one more thing that has been put into place to disenfranchise certain communities and certain groups of people. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, this time around, what I do see is everybody that's impacted ain't black and brown. Because we know that they don't care about them either. It's just you either elite or you're not.
And that's another thing. That another group of people are being. I mean, it's a lot of people being affected, and we as teachers or educators, we face there's that big word. There's that bullying piece, and when you're taking this type of
approach,
programs and things out of the schools or going with these type of strategies, what happens to that piece when a person of the
TQ, whatever, all
is affected, because we no longer, or is no longer looked at as something you need to worry about in school. And I'm saying that, our focus is on what, I say all the time, I'm not focused on what a child preference is.
Right.
But at the same time, what happens when a child is bullied?
for that, right?
And because kids know things, they ain't supposed to be calling you he no more.
Especially
they say that loud too.
They know the 411.
Well, I don't think that those are the kids that are also going to be disenfranchised, right? Those are the people in the community that are also going to be impacted.
Because they don't fit the mold
Correct.
of what he's trying to achieve, which is
anybody who doesn't fit that mold,
survival.
you are not who he's talking about. And that's the thing. You're not the target audience. You are simply the target. That's it. You are the target. You're not the audience. And one thing I will say, he still ain't, I told my husband the same thing. He still ain't told a lie. If all this foolishness, he told y'all straight to y'all face, and y'all still went to the voting booth and put his name down. And I'm going to say,
he said he didn't know anything about Project 25.
Listen, he can say, that was the first lie. That's the lie. Outside of that, he been executing it. And y'all sat there and said, oh, yes.
Well, they didn't think it would affect you.
And that's the thing. You didn't think it was going to affect you.
Because look who's outside. Look who's outside marching. Who's outside marching.
I'm in the house.
What are we doing? Boots on the ground.
Baby, I keep telling y'all we can do it. I got you.
That's what we doing.
And everything.
We had the trail ride.
Chilling.
Like,
I was in
when
my
I passed by these protests, we're not out there.
For what?
We are not out there.
I'm trying to grow my life.
Because at the end of the day, I said, overtime over. That's been my thing. Because
I love that.
The things that we have discussed in these last couple of episodes are things we have been saying over and over again. So I'm going to express it. Overtime's over.
Yeah.
I don't care what they take out them books. It is not the school job to teach your kids
That's right.
on who they are and what they need to know. And at the end of the day, I don't know how they're going to teach history. I don't know how they're going to teach Georgia history. Because I don't know how you not going to talk
teaching
about
it correctly since to be honest, I really don't even quite know why this is as big of an issue aside from them marginalizing like the LGBTQ plus community. But as far as like African American or melanated history, they've been teaching that wrong since the beginning of time.
First of all, can we just back up?
Since the what?
History, social studies is
always
not a
been
required
incorrect.
subject. And y'all could be mad at me in the comments like y'all want to, but
no, it's not a required
It's not a
subject.
required pass.
Well, we mean for who?
For like, we always talk about it's not a required pass.
Right.
Cause And I'm not trying to say that to be derogatory to social studies teachers, but what I am saying is it's funny that we're attacking a subject that if our kids can't read, it don't
It's a
even matter.
ghost subject.
It is. It's just
It's just there.
That's why we let
because.
what it say. Stereotypically we say the coaches teach that.
There we go.
Okay,
There we go.
check your coach's certification.
And they definitely coming for you.
Huh? I mean, it's real.
We're
and
not
I'm
saying that
it
it's
to be
not
mean.
important, but if you
I'm
are a
saying-
social studies
No, I'm
teacher,
talking about, she talking about the
Coach's
coaches.
certification.
oh yeah, if you're a social studies teacher,
because I know my listen.
you should be teaching social studies the correct way.
Correct.
In a way where you are knowledgeable about the melanated people that were here. I'm not saying that we all came
Mhm.
off the boat.
Nope, because we didn't.
We did not. We
Some
were
of y'all was
already here.
Some of y'all did.
And to be quite honest, this land as much as ours is anything.
Talk about it.
But we don't understand treaties. We don't understand the history.
They don't know.
We don't.
I mean, it's right.
it's-
I don't care how much they try to abolish it. It's right
It's still
there.
here. This is the thing.
It's right there.
You can wipe all the websites you want to. You can do all these things that you want to do, right? Because that's all. Because if you look at it, that's all that's being done. There is intentional. There's an intentional erasure. But the thing is that one thing we know about the internet, once it's out there, it's out there. You can erase from one website, it's just gonna be on another one. You have to. It is our job as parents, our job as educators to do the things that we need to do to ensure that our students are well rounded. And that means we have to, as I will speak for myself, even as a parent, or speak from being a parent, it's our job. Truthfully, like you said, it is our job to crack open the books or teach our kids about yesterday. Teach our kids what has happened, because there's nothing wrong with knowing our history. When you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. This is an intentional repetition of history.
But
We
Rose,
have seen this before.
I do want to add to that. Even though we are supposed to teach, and I think that's any ethnic background,
Yes, everyone
should be teaching the history of their culture,
Sure.
and race or what have you. But but what I wanted to say is, as educators in the education system, they always teach us to make sure our children feel welcome.
But they're not trying to
So
make sure our kids feel welcome.
how is this making anybody in the LGBTQ plus or even a
Minorities.
child of color?
Right.
If
Or-
you're saying if my history is not important, or who I am,
It's not a-
you know, how I feel about myself, you know, it affects, you know, I think it's going to affect kids psychologically, emotionally, like
Well,
all of that
yeah.
piece. But
I
some
gotta-
kids just don't.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Have you all ever played dodgeball?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember when the kids used to line up and you had the captain choose the people for the team?
Yeah.
And sometimes, well, I know for me,
You didn't get picked.
I'm not athletic. Now, I can dance,
I'm not gonna laugh.
jazz, tap, ballet, all of that. But when it comes to sports, that's not my thing.
Okay.
So, you raise your hand, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. And you're like one of the last people chosen. I mean, I, of course, was chosen because I had my friends, whatever. But most people who aren't athletic, they're not chosen.
Right.
Okay,
If you can't win the game, we don't want you on our team.
This is he's doing his, what you call it, starting five?
Yeah.
What is it called in basketball?
Start if that's your start. You're right.
You're starting five?
You did it. Good job.
Thank you. I did it. He's choosing his starting five.
And they put the war plans in the group chat.
Right.
My bad.
And so there are certain people that aren't a part of the starting five.
That's it. You have
It's that simple. Everybody
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen to you. It doesn't matter because I am
Focus
worried
on-
about 50 years from now, 200 years from now. That's what they're focused on. They're not worried about tomorrow. They're literally worried about hundreds of years from now. What is the earth going to look like? And it's not going to look, it's going to look a little brown.
I think that
It's
you
gonna
know
look
how
a
you
lot
try to
brown.
you know how okay
Not a little bit.
you know how we try to say like okay you know when you go to sleep tonight whether you wake up tomorrow or not the sun's still gonna rise right
Right.
it's the same concept. It don't matter what you do, it's still gonna be brown. I don't think that you can fix that problem because it's too far gone. You should have thought about that 100 years ago or 400 years ago. Should have left it where we was at.
Oh, I mean, we
Where
can
you
try.
was at.
Well, they banking on you doing a genocide. They've been banking on that for years.
Oh yes, but I like to believe, and I do believe that
But see,
it doesn't. I think that sometimes change is inevitable.
What has happened is we done switched up the game.
Exactly.
We're getting healthier. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I was going to talk about.
Now
They weren't banking
now
on
we're
that.
getting therapy.
Yep.
They didn't see that coming.
And now we're stopping a lot of,
They didn't see that coming.
generational curses.
And say that.
We're getting educated about investments, and they're learning about different types
Not
of investments.
all of us out here, popping it off and
That's it.
and
We have fun, but we educated.
that's right.
And I'm not
So what
talking
they say,
about
black women are still the most educated. Oh, okay.
Well, see, there's a difference between being knowledgeable and educated. So when I see that headline, I think that's great.
I do too.
But what does that mean? Because there are a lot of educated fools. Are
You're
you
right.
eating
I
properly?
can't account for that,
Are
though.
you?
I just want to be.
Do you have great religious practices or meditation practices?
know.
Do you have great self-thought? Are you talking to yourself kindly? Are you investing? Are you walking in the morning? Like there are so many different modalities that people are not gearing toward, but they have a doctorate degree.
all I can
And they're
tell
dumb
you
as I don't know what.
That they got off Chat GTP.
Okay.
All I'm saying is it's good to. I can't account for all that. But what I can say is it's good to know that we are going to get our degrees
I know it for a fact.
Oh, people can do that all day.
I know. Let me
They
hush.
do it all day.
I
But I'm glad
ain't
to
no
see that we
doctor, but
are.
I know
I'm
some-
not doing that.
They have a doctorate off of Chat GPT.
I mean, some
Who
people
does?
do. Not me.
A whole, like a
Chat
thesis?
GPT wasn't around when I had to get my degree, so I had to do it myself. But what I am saying is, we are going to get educated. We are working hard. Like you said, we are getting healthier. We're doing what we got to do, and we protecting our peace. And I like that.
Wrap
That's
this
my
up,
favorite
Joy.
part.
Wrap this up.
In other words, he can do what he want to do. Just teach your children.
Where am I?
Yeah, you're right. You right.
Oh,
Just
okay.
in the front center.
All right. This is
all
another
right.
episode.
Over there.
Because baby girl is so gone.
This is another episode of The Real Teachers of Atlanta. Comment down below what you think, how you feel.
You can find us on.
Thank you. You can find us on all platforms.
They can find you on.
I don't want y'all to find me. I don't feel like it.
Okay, well keep. All right then.
No, I'm just kidding. You can find me at Joya A. Carter at Instagram.com.
Oh,
Is it .com? That's not how you do
what?
it, is it?
Start over.
You can find me.
Start the whole
Take
thing
two-
over, Joy. Boom.
Thank you. That was another episode of The Real Teachers of Atlanta. You can find us on all. Stop looking at me.
Okay.
You can find me on all platforms. You can find me at
You
Joya A. Carter.
You can find me. You can find me at I am Nikki D on all platforms.
You can find me at Ty P. Smith.
So sexy.
Bye.
You can find us at Real Teachers of Atlanta on all platforms. And with that,
This is
bye.
Bye.
She got it. You can find me at Ty P. Smith.
girl.
What?
I
just said my
No, it's the way you said it. Did you saw it right? She did the shoulder lean. This was literally you
Trey,
trying.
quit being
No,
messy.
Ty, you did like this.
Always do that.
You can find me at Ty P. Smith. Girl.
I speak.
Ty P. Smith. She was trying to. She be right out here flirting with the masses. Look at you. We see you.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.